We're going to get into a brand chatter with Tony Chapman, host of Chatter That Matters podcast. This is where we look at some of the big brand stories of the week. Hey, good morning, Tony. How are you?
Live from Costa Rica.
I love your studio. I can't wait to be there.
Thank you, Tony. We can't wait to have you here, but I'm glad you're enjoying the warmer weather right now. Tony, let's start with this. Maybe you took Air Canada to get there, but Air Canada now has new fees for carry-on luggage and seat selection changes on their lowest fare tickets. They say they're being competitive, but some people are saying profits are the real motive, and they are taking heat for this move.
Don't you feel like you're a passenger walking onto an airline and suddenly you turn into a piggy bank and they turn you upside down and just shake you? I mean,
it's an image.
You know, what's happened, in all fairness to Air Canada, is we've moved away from buying directly to airlines and now using consolidators like Expedia and TripAdvisor. So every airline wants to seduce you with the lowest possible price. But once they have you, then they start tucking on fees. And what used to be nominal fees have become a major profit center. Baggage fees alone in the United States is $9 billion. So they're looking at this now and saying, this is gravy that we certainly have to lap up because all the other airlines are doing it. Why shouldn't we? The problem I have with, especially in Canada, is we really only have one major airline. And the second issue that I have really is I do believe it should be our right to bring carry-on bag when we are flying on your airline somewhere outside of our city. That at very least we should be allowed to have that as part of the fee. So that really causes me some concern that basic economy now, even that is getting tapped for additional dollars.
Yeah, it costs a fortune. I mean, in some cases, I know last year when we went traveling with our family, I didn't even realize we had to pay for our bags once we got to the airport because it was in the fine print. It was something we hadn't traveled in so long pre-COVID, right? So it's
just wait, pay for your bag, pay for your seat selection. Oh, you want to use the bathroom? I hope you have a toonie on you. So, I mean,
maybe that's
where
next.
is this going to end?
Exactly.
Yeah, that was a very big story that we watched this weekend, or week, I should say, and we got a lot of reaction. Another one, so Toronto's WNBA team, we've got a name now, the Tempo. What do you think, Tony?
I love it. I'm a big basketball fan, being a season tickets for years. And one thing about basketball, it's almost, if you ever watched the Queen movie where they stood, we will rock you, and they start stamping their feet and the whole crowd gets into it. That's basketball. Hockey, for some reason, as soon as the play stops, they have to stop the music. Basketball is all in. It's got tempo. And as the game picks up, the music picks up. I couldn't think of a better brand name. I love the way they made this logo. It's dynamic. Today, the logos are about animation. Virality is going to be a hologram before we know it off our phone. Everything, all the notes of this place for it, and I think it's going to have some really street cred merchandise. Big fan of everything this organization's doing. I think I saw the interview when you had the president on. I think that it's just got the kind of magic you want. Very rarely do you get a chance to absolutely name a brand from day one, and I think they've done such a beautiful job with this.
Okay, well, I'm sure President Theresa Resch will be happy that you're on board with this, Tony, because you are the marketing expert. And turning now to Taylor Swift, you know, we're still talking about her because she's finishing up her Eras Tour in Vancouver, but she certainly has the Midas touch. But who would have thought RBC's sponsorship of her Eras Tour would translate 1,000 clients in Q4? Tony, do you think this is good marketing, or do you think people were, you know, signing up with RBC, hoping to get tickets to her tour?
Well, it's a combination of a few things. It's not all attributed to Taylor Swift. I think the media is, you know, sort of taking that number and Taylor Swift and brought it together. There's no question that was a very bold move on RBC's part, and it really has paid off dividends because it allowed them to introduce their Avion brand to a whole bunch of different people. And I got to give them full credit. You didn't have to get a credit card or open a bank account. You just simply had to sign up to win tickets. So they made it very inclusive. Taylor Swift's part of it, but I just think that in general, there's a flight to safety nowadays going on with banks, that with cybersecurity and cyber theft. I think a lot of people are starting to say, where do I feel the most comfortable putting my money? And RBC, being Canada's largest bank, I think is benefiting from that as well. So there's a number of things. No question, Taylor Swift was part of it. But I think they're just doing a lot of things right at that bank, including sponsoring Chatter That Matters. But that's just a shameless plug. But I think they're doing a lot of things right at that bank to really say to Canadians, we care about the communities, we care about Canada, we care about the things that we're doing, and I think they're getting rewarded with the kind of trust that people play. When you have my back, then I'm going to consider having your back.
Yeah, but I'm thinking, oh, how grateful do you think they are that they signed up supported that Eras tour, right? Like,
Right. Listen, you got to remember, we had a prime minister tweeting, begging her to come to Canada. It was a brand like RBC that stood up and made it possible. But again, marching in step with Taylor Swift. I don't know if you realize how much money she gave to food banks in Canada. RBC matched that. You know, so it was a great marketing venture, but Taylor Swift is very smart. She says, if you want to partner with me, we're going to partner together in some great causes. And that's, again, just fit right within that sort of notes that RBC plays day in and day out with their foundation.
Yeah, for sure. RBC is all kind of out there with helping people, helping athletes. They've really kind of got this whole empire going on with giving back to the community.
And why wouldn't they? You know what? They've got, if you're that kind of organization, you could chase all the profits you want. But if you're putting a percentage of your profits back into things like, as you said, RBC athletes and stuff, training ground, new artists, emerging networks, equity deserving neighborhoods. I just think that's great business. I think that's smart, and they're not the only ones, but I think the more organizations focus on purpose, not just profit, the better we all are.
All right, Tony, that's all the time we have, but thank you so much.
Oh, I want to go all day
with you. I know,
with you
we really could talk all day, but soon enough, we'll see you in studio and we'll continue the conversation.
All right.
Have a great weekend, okay, Tony?
Thanks, Tony. Take care.